And then over on this guy and maybe on this guy, what I might try and do is use those wash lights too, because it's nice to create different intensities of light. So not every light is the exact same, because the wash lights aren't quite as bright. Having it on a kind of a little corner area like this and a little bit of a smaller tree like this can just be a nice contrast, so that everything still stands out on the back of the house. Hey guys, it's Cal from the Lighting Doctor here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video with some more great landscape lighting tips. To learn more about landscape lighting, go and check out our website at lightingdoctor.ca, or if you want to see what a real quality landscape light should look like, go and check out our Try It Before You Buy It offer, where you can get a premium quality fixture at a discounted rate with your very own battery pack, so you can go and test out how that light's going to look and feel what a real premium quality light should look like. So go and check us out at lightingdoctor.ca, or go watch more videos on YouTube just by searching for the Lighting Doctor. Hey, Tony, yeah, thanks for your email and reaching out. Love to give you a couple ideas here. I think you got a, perfect house here for some landscape lighting. I'm really going to focus on the front area here a little bit and show you a couple things you could do. If you watched any of our videos, one of the things I always talk about is trying to accent the front of the house a little bit. Talk a little bit about these second story peaks, and I'll just give you some examples too to kind of give you some context, but I will talk about kind of lighting the front a little bit of the second story lighting, and then also just give you another example of kind of why I like doing that and how we would go about doing that on your place. So, I think the first thing I would do is, if possible, and I think you should be able to, is just with a couple uplights. Like a lot of what you're going to be able to do is going to be just with some uplights and some path and garden lights. There might be a couple scenarios here where I'm just looking where you might want to consider some wash lights. And I will talk to you about some different intensities with some uplighting as well, just how to get a brighter bulb and that kind of stuff along with some other things. So I think the first thing I would do is, over in this area, I think I would probably just try and get an uplight kind of right in the middle here, probably just behind this shrub, and having it shine more upright so the angle really just kind of grazes the house and makes this area stand out a little bit. It's nice if you can get it kind of behind a shrub like this too, which I'll talk about over here, because then it kind of makes this shrub look a little bit bigger because it highlights it, but also kind of creates some shadows back on the house. So I would have one of those in there, and the nice thing is that light's really going to hit this top area here too, and it's almost like it's going to help it glow and almost make it look like you have some soffit lighting in there, kind of like you see here where it hits the top, and it kind of makes it glow. So that's what I would do on that area. And then on the porch, I would probably try and have, on both sides, and you can angle these a little bit, kind of in here, having them shine fairly upright, but so that it kind of catches these pillars again along with this top section, because just like I kind of showed you in this one here, how that really just highlights the entryway and it really, really makes it pop and stand out. So I would have two of those there, and then I would have another one back in this corner here as well that kind of highlights this pillar and this whole top area. And because you have the white finish on these pillars in this area, you get a lot of reflective light as well that kind of shines down, which is always nice. And then I'll keep going here first, and then I would kind of do the same thing over on this side of the house, where I would kind of have three of those. Again, I think if you can have them just kind of behind these plants, kind of right in here, right in here, and right in here, shining fairly upright. A three across this area here is going to do a really nice job of highlighting this area. You're going to get a lot of reflective light too that's going to help light the pathway a little bit, but then you can still add a couple path and garden lights too if you choose. And usually the way I do that is I try and stagger them, so I'm not overdoing it with path lights, which a lot of people do, and it looks like they're building a runway to land an airplane, but that's not what we want to do. We want to kind of accent the house, and then I might have like a path and garden light. So when I'm talking about a path and garden light, I'm really just talking about these guys here. Or you may want to consider, just because you do have kind of a more of a modern looking home. I know these are, almost double the price, but they're, forgive my lack of a better term, but they're really sexy modern light that's very popular right now. So you could do either or. And I would kind of place them in between where you have the uplights. So kind of one in here, and then kind of one in here that's going to just gently light the walkway area. And then over here, you kind of do the same. I would maybe put one in here and one in here. But then what I would do is over in this area, and it just depends. I think it's going to do a really nice job if you just uplight those. So I would say at minimum, I would have 2 of those kind of path and garden lights in here that you have 4 across the whole walkway. That'll give you plenty of light with the reflective light you have off your house. Then if you wanted to in this area, the other thing you could do is use a wash light. Very similar to an uplight, but it's a wider angle, softer light that you can use to light some of the lower shrubs. So I might put one of those kind of in here that highlights this shrub against the nice brickwork that you have down here, is maybe what I would do. And then I would kind of leave that area at that. And then just to accent some of the plants that you have in your property, I'd probably try and put one of the uplights on this tree over here. And then over on this guy and maybe on this guy, what I might try and do is use those wash lights too, because it's nice to create different intensities of light. So not every light is the exact same, because the wash lights aren't quite as bright. Having it on a kind of a little corner area like this and a little bit of a smaller tree like this can just be a nice contrast, so that everything really stands out on the back of the house. I'm just going through a couple other pictures here. Oh yeah, okay, I see this one's out quite a bit. So actually I would probably throw an uplight on here and not a wash light, because I think this is going to get big enough that a wash light's just not going to do it justice. So I would definitely uplight those 2. And just because I have a feeling this is going to be a smaller one, a wash light would be a good example for that one. The other nice thing too about having that lights on the porch that I talked about, it's also going to light your flag, which is always a nice option. And then something you could do, it really depends. I like sometimes, especially if I have big trees, and this could be a whole nother project or plan or something you add on later if you kind of plan for it. But anytime I have big trees on the property like this, I like accenting those with a couple uplights. But this is where I would increase that from the standard 4-watt LED lamp that comes in them. I would upgrade that to a 6-watt LED lamp, which is what we call a 50-watt halogen equivalent lamp. And what that does, it really push lights to the top of the canopy. So I might do that. I might have 1 or 2 over here, and I might do a couple of the trees in the back. 1, because that's nice backyard lighting, but 2, it also still adds to the front yard, because if you're looking at the house now, you see some of these monster trees lit up in the background, which is a nice feature. And then the last thing I'll talk about is kind of like I said, those second story peaks, because you have some nice consistency here. What I would do is and I'll show you how to do this in a second, but I would probably take one of those uplights, same ones you're going to use down here, and I would mount it on the gutter and kind of have it shining up to this peak. I would have one shining up to this peak, and then I would probably try and mount another one here that's shining up to this peak. Question I always get asked is, going to be too much light in the window? And rarely is that the case, because you're not shining it at the window. Same as these, you want it more upright than at the window. And the way we go do that is actually just with these gutter mounts that we have on our website. They screw right into the gutter. The light screws into that. All our connections are waterproof, so you can actually run all your wire right inside the gutter. And then usually what do we do is I'll usually just run the wire up the downspout somewhere, and then across I'll make my connections here. I'll mount that light with the gutter mount here, and same thing over here. And then if you had to kind of run it up the side, or if there's another downspout that you can kind of follow up here to mount that light up there, that's how I would do that. So yeah, in summary, you don't need a ton of lights. I think you're maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 here, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 uplights across the bottom section, maybe 3 more on the top with 3 gutter mounts, like 4 path lights, and then maybe a wash light. And then you can always look at doing some of this stuff later. If you were to go with something like that, we can always help you customize a kit, but you can also just go and easily build one yourself by adding some of these lights to your shopping cart. And then a wiring kit like this would be more than enough. I mean, you'd have a 150-watt transformer. You would have your 250 feet of 12-2 cable, which would be enough for that side of the project. All your waterproof connections. Comes with a Wi-Fi timer. You can easily fit 20 probably to 25 of those lights that I just talked about onto this transformer, so it would leave you room for expansion. And then if you need to get the gutter mounts, you can again just go to the second page. We have our gutter mounts there, along with everything else you might need. So if you need any help customizing a kit, let me know, and any questions, happy to help with that too. Thanks, Tony. Hey guys, I just wanted to show you this real quick. If you see here, we got this bed area, and this was an area that was totally isolated, that we couldn't get wire to really. We got this nice, beautiful brick walkway here, but we're out on Vancouver Island, where it is an island, most of it's rock, and there's just no way we could tunnel underneath that sidewalk without going super deep and totally messing up the gardens. So what we did is, if you see behind me here, on this bush that goes up and then across the doorway here and then back down, what we did is we actually used the gutter, and we actually ran wire up the gutter, over the doorway, and down into this bed here, and we were easily able to do that. And now we didn't have to tear up the whole garden, but we can get power here and still keep all our lights on the same transformer. So sometimes you got to be a little creative with how you get wire to different areas, but there's always a way, and you'd never even know that that wire's there, because where we came back down in the bed is right behind a trellis that we ended up highlighting and featuring anyway, that you guys can't tell from the video, but I can see it's starting to look really, really good, so I'm glad we lit that up. And that wire's totally hidden, so you'd have no idea how we got that wire there. So sometimes you got to be a little creative. You don't always have to go into the sidewalk, so think of alternative ways. Hey guys, so I just want to show you, we're going to use our accent light a whole bunch in this property, and a lot of common areas we're going to use that is on some nice trees. We got a really nice tree here that we're going to try and focus on, but one thing I see people do too often, or more times than not, is instead of trying to get that light nice and close to the tree and having it shine up, so you're taking advantage of all the barking structure and then all the branching up top, is they'll bring it far back and try and aim it at the tree. And what happens there is they tend to miss a lot of the lower portions of the trees. And then also when it's, depending on the area you live in, if you start losing a lot of foliage in the wintertime, then having that light shine at all the foliage is kind of a waste of time, and you lose a lot of the effect of that light. That's why I like having it closer to the tree. Here we're maybe 12, 14, 18 inches away from the base. We're going to have it shooting almost straight up, because I want to highlight all this trunking and branching structure as possible, as well as now we're getting that light up into the foliage and into the canopy. So again, with our standard RS uplight from FX Luminaire, there's lots of other good ones out there. I like this guy because it's a real workhorse, and that's what we're going to use on this project. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys got some great do-it-yourself landscape lighting tips. Now, please be sure to go to our website at lightingdoctor.ca and check out our how-to page. It's full of great resources, from our podcast to our video to our most frequently asked questions. And also check out our Try It Before You Buy It light, where you can actually go now and get one of our premium quality uplights and a King Innovation Insta-Light, which is basically a battery pack now that allows you to go and run those lights and test them out on your property. Try it for 14 days. If you don't love it, send it back to us and we'll give you a full refund. And if not, you keep the light at a discounted rate and go and buy what you need for your project. So thanks again for watching. Please be sure to leave us a comment. We'd love your feedback. Have a great day.